Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of Super Sundays. Just to give you an insight of what Super Sundays is, Super Sundays is focused to impart trends, insights, and information to small business owners and micro businesses or single owners as to how to start on your entrepreneurial journey. And for those who have an existing business, just give them a rundown as to how to take your business forward. In the past few episodes, we have spoken about how to map the gap. We've spoken about the most important tool in business, and that's the business plan. And we actually got started on working on our business plans. The first step, of course, we had looked into in the last episode, and that was crafting your vision and mission statement. Today, we are going to take the next step, is to understand how to put the second step of the business plan together, and that's the marketing aspect of the business. So let's get started. When you start with the Hi Priya, thanks for joining. When we get started with the marketing, the first thing, of course, we look at is what our product is and who we are marketing it for, or who we are selling it to. When I'm looking at my product or service, of course, I have done my homework. I know what my product is and what problem it's going to solve for my target audience. But how big is your market? How big is the audience that you are promoting your target to your target customer, the product or the service? And for this, we start off by understanding the market available. Now, as every time I say, business is done by people for people. So what is that one reason that why you want to sell? And what is that one reason why people want to buy? And that too, particularly from you. If I can segregate an audience which is interested in my product or service, which is interested to buy from me, then I have a viable marketing or a viable business proposition. And if this target audience buys from me on a regular basis for a long term, that means I can make my business sustainable. I can make my business profitable in the long term. And that's what we are going to look in today, to find out who our target audience actually is and how we get to that core niche business people whom we are going to sell, or I should say who are going to buy from us. So how do you go about finding this target market? There are basic aspects to the entire assignment, and the first one is you have a product or a service. Who is it meant for? And the first differentiation I would want to make is it a B2B product or service or a B2C product or service? Because just imagine if we have these two distinct areas of marketing or promoting different target audiences, the communication is going to be different. The channels that we are going to use are going to be different. There's marked difference between these two entities, where we have a business to business market audience or a business to consumer or customer market audience. When we have made this differentiation and we have pinpointed which one our business falls in, it might be both, by the way. It can be both. But then, which one is more lucrative? So let's start off by differentiating or segmenting our target audience. The first aspect, as I said, is B2B or B2C. Once we have decided on that, there are two other aspects that come into play. One is the objective, which are more marked, which can be more looked at in terms of these are the major aspects where I differentiate my audience from the rest. And one are a little subjective, which are more emotional, which are not more where we can actually go down and say, okay, this is what it is, this is what it is not. Yeah, we call them more subjective, more abstract than we can try to put it when you try to put it together. So the objective aspects are, of course, the geographical reach. I can have different market segments. I can have an audience in UAE. I can have an audience in India. I can have an audience in Philippines. Just remember, if I have three different market segments, that means I have three different ways of communicating with them, or what channels I'm going to use trying to reach them. The second aspect is the demographics. When we talk about demographics, for example, if it's a B2B sector, yeah, I'm going to look at the size of the organization, their turnover, how many people are in the hierarchy of making a buying decision. If it is a business to customer or consumer market, then I'm going to look at what income group it is, what nationality, what gender. All this come under the gamut of objective aspects of segmentation. The second part is the subjective one. Now, when we talk about the subjective one, it's all about the psychographics, or a behavioral aspect, if I have to say. For example, if it's a business to business situation, wherein I would be seeing who should I connect with in this organization. Okay, I'm going to connect with maybe a marketing manager. What kind of personality is this person? Is he tech savvy? Does he like to make quick decisions? Is he very much in touch with what are the trends? What kind of personality this entity is going to have? It's in the business to consumer. The psychographics are much more easier to pinpoint than a B2B, because they can be actually put in one aspect, in one container, and played. Depending on these two aspects of objective and subjective characteristics, we build a buyer persona. And again, I say the same thing. When it comes to selling to a B2B and deciding on getting his persona, it is a little difficult, because a B2B is completely a different ball game. But B2C, it's much more easier, because you actually build, see for yourself, visualize and imagine a perfect persona whom you can sell to. Why do we do all this? The more intensely you get onto this activity, it's easier for you to communicate. It's easier to find channels to talk to these people. Your communication becomes much more crisper. Your communication becomes much more focused. Once you have the target audience in place. Now, when I talk about target audience in place, you actually can have different segments in your target market. Just as I said, it depends on three different aspects. So I can have an audience that is in the UAE, where I have to talk to them in maybe Arabic or communicate with them in Arabic. I know what they look like. I know what they value more. I know how it feels talking to these people. I might have another segment which is back there in India, maybe completely different from what I have in UAE. I might have another one in a third country. Or maybe in the same geographical locations, I might have two different audiences. One who are very premium and who are a little mass or standard. Now, in this scenario, if I have different market segments, then what do I do? Who do I speak to? Because I can't be speaking to all of them at one go. It would be such a confusing kind of a conversation. Talking to an audience in 3-4 different languages, 3-4 different messages. That's when we look at targeting the right audience. When it comes to targeting, we talk about the effectiveness, the attractiveness of that market for me as a business owner. Can I sell easily to these people? Are they the low-hanging fruits? Are they the most needed part of my audience? Does my product actually make a big impact on these people? These are factors I'm going to look at to see the attractiveness of this particular segment. So if I have about 4 to 5 market segments, then I'm going to use this criteria to choose a right market to promote my product or service. When I'm talking about targeting, the first question is what I'm selling, and the second question is what is my customer or consumer buying. Because all buying decisions are not based on what I am selling as a business owner, but to what the consumer is buying from the business. The second question is, of course, the why. Why are they buying from us? And this leads to the third aspect of the segmentation, and that is the positioning, which is very, very important in marketing. When I am marketing something to an audience where they already have so many options, they are looking at different available solutions for their problem. How are they going to evaluate this against those options? And that's where I need to create as a business an impression, an image, a communication in their mind. So when they are looking at their problem, they think of us, they think of me as a solution. When it comes to positioning, it's all about the value. When we are into the market, there are 4 stages of how we place our product or service. 1, is it something that can be used by anybody and everybody? And it's the most basic requirement of the market. 2, is the goods where there is a particular emotion, value attached to it. It might be branded, it might be non-branded. That product or that good, what kind of service it delivers, or what kind of benefit it delivers. And the 4th one is, of course, the emotional connect to it, the experience that we talk about reaping from that product or service. And every consumer is in one of these categories. They are looking at a product or a service as a basic necessity. They're looking at a product or good as something that maybe gives them a specific benefit. A service which solves their problem and is not very much tangible like a product. And an experience where they can emotionally connect to it. So isn't it wise for business owners to try to place their product or service in the experiential category? And when your consumer can have that connect with you, then what happens? Every time they think of the problem, they think of you as a solution. You come to their mind first. You are on their recall scale. When we are positioning a product or a service, we have to assess it against a value. And I don't mean a monetary value. I mean a value in terms of an emotional connect. People buy from people. Why do people buy? Because they want to solve a problem. And what actually makes them decide on A or a B option is two reasons. One is a functional reason. That means they're trying to reap a benefit out of it. It's going to solve their problem. Two, they have an emotional connect. If these two things can be taken into consideration when we position ourselves, our business, it becomes easier for us to communicate the right message to the right audience at the right time. When we are positioning, it's all about the value that a person or a consumer is buying. Here, we are not talking about our product or service that we are selling. It all boils down to what my customer, my consumer is buying. Now, just imagine a scenario wherein I have a vast market. Not everybody actually can purchase from me, because they have different reasons to buy. They have different problems, each one with its unique requirement. And that's the reason we position ourselves in such a way to create that unique selling proposition. Every business that creates a fantastic USP for their product or service usually goes through these different steps of getting there, of crafting a perfect USP. And that starts with understanding who you're selling to and why people are buying from you. Once you have the market in place, then we get to the actual marketing activity, the actual marketing strategy to reach to these people and to promote a product or service to them. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comment box, or you can catch hold of me on my WhatsApp number 054-994-7691, and I would be happy to answer all your queries. Now, the three aspects of segmentation, targeting, and positioning. If we have crafted them well and documented it, it's easier for me to take a decision now. My decision is already made actually, of who I'm targeting and what kind of message I'm trying to reach to this target audience. Is it that I'm looking to try to sell them the benefits, or am I trying to create that rapport with my customer so they are emotionally connected to my product or service? The next step now from here is the marketing strategy. Once the marketing strategy is formulated, when we use words like strategy and a lot of marketing jargon, it's not rocket science. It's very much simple if you answer just a few questions of who, what, why, when, where, and how. That itself would make your marketing strategy complete. If you can answer this simple questions, you are on your way to crafting a perfect marketing strategy. Up till now, what we have seen is we have spoken about our product, we have spoken about our audience, but how, when, where to reach this audience, and that comes into the marketing strategy. To create an effective marketing strategy, you need two things. The job, the assignment, the work that you have done right up till now, right from creating or mapping the gap to getting your target audience in place. That's a part of it. And the second part, of course, is to understand your core business model. One tool that comes very handy here is the business model canvas. Have you ever, any of you, done a business model canvas? You can just put your responses in the comments box, or I can actually surely have a separate session on how to create or how to draft a business model canvas. A business model canvas actually gives you an insight and aligns your marketing, your operations, and your entire business strategy in one spreadsheet. It's very, very simple to make, to create. The only thing you need to have is a bit of time, a bit of brainstorming to do on how to take it forward, because it's going to ask you very pertinent questions, right from what your product is to who your target audience is, which you already know by now, and how you're going to fulfill the needs of this particular target audience, how you're going to reach them, what activities you would need to do, how many people would you need to get in place to fulfill this kind of business transactions. All this comes into a business model canvas. There are quite a few online tools which make it more easier for you to create a business model canvas. It's very simple. The only thing that you need to know is your business and your target audience. Other than that, it's much more in depth if we take it to the next level. Priya, is it similar to marketing execution plan? Yes, your business model canvas is more like around 70% of the marketing execution plan. You would say that, right? Yeah, but there are a few more things that come into play, like what key partners would you require to fulfill the marketing plan. So those don't usually come into the marketing execution plan, but they would surely come in a business model canvas. Or what kind of revenues would be generated at each level of the activities that you're doing. What kind of costs would go there, which are not much in the execution plan. Yeah, those we don't consider. So you can say about 70% of the marketing of the business model canvas is your marketing plan. Once we have come to this stage right here, that's when we start talking about the marketing as a function in the business, and which becomes the next step in your business plan. For this session of creating a marketing strategy or creating a marketing plan, we ideally would take the next session, because I wouldn't be able to fulfill in a very short time as to what it is. It requires a bit of know-how, but it doesn't stop me from answering your questions, be it right now, if you can put them in the comment box, or you can catch up with me on my WhatsApp number 054994761. For today, that's it. I hope this basic requirements that I'm talking about in terms of a business plan will help you to craft a very strong business plan to start off with. If there are any questions, please connect, and do not forget to log in today at 6:30 GST, 6:30 p.m. GST, to listen to Priya, because she is going to give you insights on how Twitter ads work. That's another marketing channel that's very much prevalent in this part of the world when it comes to communicating with your target audience. So do not forget to log in at 6:30 p.m. GST. That's Dubai time. to listen to Priya. And now I take your leave and hope to see you on the same platform, same time next Sunday for another exciting session of Super Sunday. And a topic ideally would be how to create an effective marketing strategy. Till then, have a good time and stay safe. Bye.